Hi guys, I got a message on the Dr. K community Facebook page, so you might want to get there if you want to leave particularly a technical inquiry, or you want me to do a lesson on something. That's the place to go, the best place to message me. If you go to Facebook and type in Dr. K Boogie Community, you'll see there our Facebook page, and you can leave messages and questions. And somebody was asking me about Hammy's Boogie and the correct way to play it, and I think this brings up an important point, that there isn't one correct way to play any single piece of Boogie Woogie music. And when, for example, Meadlux Lewis, who's famous for Honky Tonk Train Blues, which many of you know, if you don't know Meadlux Lewis, just type in Meadlux Lewis into YouTube and listen to Honky Tonk Train Blues, which is one of the all-time classic boogie pieces. But when Meadlux Lewis played that, and it was recorded back in the 30s, he often varied it greatly in each recording. You know, he didn't play I mean, the chords were obviously the riffs were the same, but he would extend the end or change the middle eight or do a different section. It was still recognisably Honky Tonk Train Blues, but he didn't play a standardised sort of version. And while it's good to know the basics, it's also, you want to be careful that you don't get into the mindset that it has to be played only one way. And I think if you're coming to Boogie Woogie from classical music, there's a tendency to just want it played one way. So when I play Hammy's Boogie, I often play there's a straight way, and as many of you know Hammy's Boogie, the classic, just very simple way, which many of you know how to do, is That's basically Hammy's Boogie, which many of you I know have learned from the Badass Boogie bundles. I think we do it in lesson 4 or 5 of how to play amazing Boogie Woogie piano, which was one of our first lessons on the channel, and I know many of you have learned Hammy's Boogie. It was the first Boogie Woogie that I learned by my old teacher, Hammy Howell, the late, great Hammy Howell, who I told you about, died back in 1999, but he was pretty much my first and only Boogie Woogie teacher. I had a few lessons from him when I was a teenager. But when I play Hammy's Boogie, that's the classic way, but you can play it in other ways. So camera person, you might just want to come here, and you could play it, for example, even with a different left hand. So I just played a few variations of Hammy's Boogie, they just jammed them, but you can see it was still recognisably Hammy's Boogie, but played in several different ways. So the purpose of this lesson is, don't get the idea that there is only one set way to play a Boogie Woogie piece. The great thing about Boogie Woogie is that you should feel free to experiment and add your own, mark to the Boogie Woogie piece that you're playing, and that's how you're really going to become a great boogie player. Beginners often feel that they just have to play everything note perfect, and when you become more advanced, you begin to develop your musical self-esteem and put more of yourself into the playing, and you might say, oh yeah, actually my style is, for example, my style is I like to put in those rolls. But that might not be your style. Your style might be something else, I don't know, and you want to experiment and become more aware of what your strengths are when you're playing boogie. You might like to, I don't know, do some kind of different bass to me, or you might, you know, I don't know, whatever it is. You might want to mix it more with rock and roll, but whatever it is, what feels good to you, incorporate it into your boogie style and you will develop your own style. Don't just try and imitate someone. You can imitate someone to start with, but you want to go beyond it and ultimately develop your own style. That's really what you're at when you're studying the lessons here. You're learning the basics, you're imitating the masters, but then you're actually in a sense going beyond them by developing your own unique musical identity. So keep that in mind, and I write about that in a book called The Ultimate Guide to Badass Boogie, which is one of the bonus products in volume 1 of the Badass Boogie bundle. It's a great book. You can't actually buy it on Amazon. It's only available it's a bonus book. It's the first bonus book of the Badass Boogie bundle, and I strongly recommend that you read that book, because there's an awful lot of listening skills and techniques about how to do that, how to develop your own style. So read that bonus publication. It's in volume 1 of the Badass Boogie bundle, which you can get at www.badassboogie.com. So press that like button, visit the Dr. K community page on Facebook, just simply type in that to Facebook, or click the Facebook book icon up in the YouTube art, and the camera person has had a vitamin B. All is well.